Dia pessoal, sejam todos bem-vindos. Hoje é a nossa segunda live do dia, 3 de dezembro de 2023, 7 horas e 26 minutos, pelo horário de Brasília. Agora então vamos acompanhar a parte então da aproximação e acoplagem da missão de carga, né, do módulo de carga da Progress 86 MS-25 na Estação Espacial Internacional. Lembrando que ela teve início, né, no dia 1º de dezembro de 2023, né, com o primeiro lançamento do dia. E a gente acompanhou também ao vivo, que foi lá na base de Baikonur, no Cazaquistão. Né? Então a gente acompanhou o lançamento então, da Soyuz 21A, né, que está aí, módulo de carga então da Progress 86 MS-25. Ao todo, então, são 3 toneladas de carga, né, que é o módulo da Progress, né? Então está levando para a Estação Espacial Internacional. Ao todo, então, tem alimento, água, combustível e outros suprimentos, então, para a tripulação da Expedição 70 está então a bordo da Estação Espacial Internacional. E a acoplagem então está prevista para acontecer às 8h14 da manhã no horário de Brasília. Hoje mais cedo, então, no início da madrugada, tivemos aí a missão Starlink de número 125 do grupo 631. Lançamento realizado às 1h da manhã, pelo horário de Brasília. Então, mais uma missão aí da SpaceX, que foi lá no Cabo Canaveral, na Flórida, nos Estados Unidos. Estamos então aguardando só o contato aí com a Estação Espacial Internacional e também com as centrais de controle, né? Tanto de Houston, da NASA, e também da Roscosmos lá em Moscou. Então, lembrando que a acoplagem do módulo de carga da Progress MS-25, né, vai ser realizada lá no módulo Post-Ken, né, que é o módulo russo na Estação Espacial Internacional, que ficou aí vazia, né, devido à saída então, da Progress 84 MS-23, que foi no dia 29 de novembro. Deixa eu pegar aqui a... Estamos então aguardando aí contato com o Centro Espacial em Houston. Também com a sala de controle em Moscou. Para então aí dar procedimento aí à continuação da nossa transmissão. Missão da Progress 86 MS-25. E quem ainda não se inscreveu no canal, se inscreva, deixa o like e compartilhe a transmissão. Lembrando também de seguir o canal nas redes sociais. Os links se encontram aí embaixo, então, na descrição da transmissão. Sete horas e 30 minutos. Estamos então aí próximos aí, então, do início da nossa transmissão de hoje. Então, a segunda do dia. Portanto, estamos iniciando aí mais uma transmissão em conjunto com a NASA. Acompanhamos então aí a Aproximação e a chegada da Progress.
Good morning from Mission
estamos
Control
ao vivo,
Houston
então, com
in the
imagens
International Space Station Flight
da
Control Room, where
Progress,
we are bringing you live coverage of the rendezvous and docking of the
MS
unpiloted
25.
Progress 86 cargo spacecraft.
Estamos então a
You
6
are
mil
currently seeing views of Progress's crosshair
quilômetros
camera as it closes
de
in on today's
distância da
docking
Estação
window to the International
Espacial
Space Station following a
Internacional, como
2-day
vocês
34-orbit
podem
journey. Docking is
aí
currently scheduled
ver
for about
da
45 minutes from
Progress.
now at 5:14 a.m. Central, 6:14 a.m. Eastern to the POISC module. The spacecraft is currently about 6 kilometers away from the space station and closing in
Estamos
at a
aí
rate
então a
of
6 quilômetros
8.9 meters per
de
second.
distância e com velocidade então de
The Orbit 1 Flight Control Team is currently on console for
8.9
this morning's
metros
operations and are
por
being led
segundo
by
aí
Flight
de
Director Rick
velocidade.
LeBrode as he is joined on console by Flight Director Heidi Brewer. The team here in Houston is working in tandem with
Acoplagem
the
então
Russian
prevista aí
Mission
para
Control Team in
acontecer aí
Koryov,
às
just outside of
8
Moscow
e
for today's
14
Progress docking
da
operations.
manhã no horário
The teams will be
de Brasília.
conducting a
Então estamos aí
go-no-go
essa
poll
área
for
de
docking
controle
in just about
em
3 minutes.
Houston, Centro Espacial aí em Houston e também
Progress 86 is carrying 2.7
em
tons of
Moscou.
food, fuel, and supplies to the Expedition 70 crew aboard the International Space Station and will remain docked to the orbiting laboratory
Lembrando que
for about
esta
6 months.
estação, esse módulo
To
de
make
carga
way for
então
the
da
Progress
Progress
86 vehicle, the
25,
Progress
então ela vai
84 spacecraft
abastecer
that
aí
docked to
a
the space station's
a
POISC
Estação
module earlier
Espacial
this year
Internacional
departed the
com 3
station on
toneladas
Wednesday, November 29th,
de
burning
comida,
up harmlessly in the Earth's atmosphere over the South
combustível,
Pacific
água
Ocean.
e outros suprimentos para a expedição de 70 da
The
Estação
7-member
Espacial
multinational crew
Internacional.
comprising Expedition 70 includes NASA astronauts Jasmine Mogbelli and Laurel O'Hara, European Space Agency astronaut Andreas Mogensen, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Satoshi Furukawa, and Roscosmos cosmonauts Konstantin Borisov,
Então
Oleg
temos aí
Kononenko,
a
and Nikolai Chu.
tripulação então da expedição
Kononenko and Chu
70
are
que
on deck to
está aí a
monitor
bordo
today's
da
docking
Estação
of Progress
Espacial
from inside the space station's
Internacional.
About the recording mode. Please go ahead on Space Ground 1. Yes, Nikolai, you can turn on the recording. Copy that, turning on recording. Copy, thank you.
Estamos aí a menos
Kononenko
de
and Chu
5
are on deck to monitor
quilômetros
today's
de
docking of
distância.
progress from inside the space station's
Lembrando que
Stead
temos aí pontos
service module. They will be
né,
monitoring
de
the operations
aproximação
from the
aí
tour
final
room
com a
or the
Estação Espacial
telerobotically operated rendezvous
Internacional,
unit,
né?
which
Um
is
que será
basically a joystick,
a
and in the
400
unlikely event of a
metros,
failure with the
outro
automated
a
radar-based
200
curve
metros
system, they can
e
override it
aproximação
and
final
manually fly
aí
progress
a
in for
20
docking.
metros de distância.
The vehicle continues to close in on the distance to space station and is about 4.9 kilometers away.
Menos de 4 quilômetros e 900 metros. Lembrando que este veículo, então, esse módulo de carga da Progress 86 também ele ficará acoplado na estação por 6 meses. A previsão aí de que ele ficará por 6 meses acoplado na estação. Ele vai ficar então no lugar onde estava antes o módulo de carga da Progress 84 MS-23. Teve a sua desacoplagem ocorrida no dia 29 de novembro.
The Progress 86 cargo spacecraft was launched atop a Soyuz 2.1A booster rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome on Friday, December 1st at 3:25 a.m. Central, 4:25 a.m. Eastern, which is 2:25
Então, tá
p.m.
falando aí
in
que
Baikonur for an
no
8-minute,
início da sua
45-second
missão
flight to
teve
orbit.
com a
All
decolagem
3
então
stages operated as
da
expected,
Soyuz
and
2.1A
Progress is now wrapping
na
up its
base de
2-day
Baikonur
34
no
orbit chase to the
Cazaquistão às
orbiting laboratory,
6h25 da
where it is
manhã
scheduled to dock to the
no
POISC
horário de
module
Brasília,
in just
na
about
base de
41
Baikonur
minutes
no
at 5:14
Cazaquistão.
a.m. Central,
A gente
6:14 a.m.
acompanhou
Eastern.
também ao
Everything
vivo.
continues to proceed as expected, and the spacecraft is now about 4 kilometers from the station. The teams are currently conducting a go-no-go poll for docking.
Então, estamos aí a menos de 4 quilômetros. Quilômetros da estação e com velocidade aí da Progress de menos 8,5 metros por segundo. A velocidade e a distância horizontal vocês podem acompanhar ali no canto inferior esquerdo da tela. Estamos aí então com a visão do módulo de carga da Progress. Estamos então nos aproximando aí do ponto de 3 quilômetros. Lembrando que a acoplagem prevista para acontecer às 8 horas e 14
The International Space
minutos.
Station Flight Control Team here in Houston is currently working in tandem with the Russian Mission Control Team and Koryov for today's operations.
Lembrando que aqui vocês acompanham tudo o que acontece também na Estação Espacial Internacional.
Between now and the time of docking, there will be a series of impulse burns from the engine on the Progress vehicle. These are basically very short bursts to further fine-tune the spacecraft's path to the station. The next impulse burn is scheduled for
E
about
também com
3
todos
minutes
os
from now,
lançamentos
and there were previously 3
ao
impulse
redor
burns before
do
today's
mundo.
broadcast began.
Horário de Brasília, 7
Following the
horas
impulse burn,
37
Progress will get
minutos.
within range of space station and conduct a fly-around. The fly-around
Estamos aí a
will
menos de
be at
3
a degree of
quilômetros agora
127
de distância.
degrees around the space station, and following the fly-around, the spacecraft will self-align with the docking port on the
Estamos
POISC
então aí na
module.
fase de aproximação.
Once aligned, the vehicle will briefly go into station keeping to allow flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow to analyze the alignment between the forward docking probe on Progress and the docking port on the space station's POISC module.
Estamos aí então com a visão do
Once the
módulo de
proper
carga da
alignment is confirmed,
Progress.
they will reinitiate the docking sequence. Progress uses an automated radar-based system called CORS to dock to the station.
Aí, como é um
The
módulo
active
de carga,
portion
então
of
não tem
CORS is
tripulação
on
a bordo,
Progress,
então
and
ela está
passive
fazendo então
equipment is on the
seus
station.
sistemas
It's basically sending
automatizados.
basically
Então,
the active portion on
todo o
Progress sends a
sistema
radio
operacional
beacon signal to the
de
passive
hoje,
portion on
né,
the station that
está
updates
sendo então
information on range
automático,
and rate of closure.
automatizado e supervisionado então pela tripulação da
Koenig Go in
expedição
tube of Roscosmos are
70
in the Zvezda
da Estação
service module
Espacial
at the Toru,
Internacional.
which is a telerobotically operated rendezvous unit, which is basically a joystick, and in the unlikely event of a failure with the core system, they can override it and manually fly Progress in for docking with the camera view from Progress.
Estamos aí então a 2,4 quilômetros de distância.
Following initial contact and capture, currently scheduled for 5:14 a.m. Central, 6:14 a.m. Eastern,
Tivemos algum
there will be a
problema aí,
period of just a
contato
couple of
aí com
minutes
a
to allow the relative motion
nave.
between Progress and the International Space Station to dampen out on the docking interface between the two. Once that occurs,
Estamos
the
aí.
forward docking probe on Progress will begin to retract, hooks will close, and then we will have a hard mate between
Estamos com
Progress and
pequenas
station.
interferências aí no
There
contato
will
com a
then be a period of
Progress.
standard leak checks to ensure that we have an airtight seal between Progress and station before the crew opens hatches about 3 hours later to begin unloading cargo from the vehicle. The spacecraft will remain docked to the orbiting laboratory for approximately 6 months, and then it'll undock for a destructive but safe reentry into the Earth's atmosphere to dispose of trash loaded by the crew. Progress continues to close in on station and is about 2 kilometers away, closing in at a rate of 4.3 meters per second.
Perdemos contato com a Progress. Natural. Estamos então a 2 quilômetros da Estação Espacial Internacional. Estamos aguardando as imagens voltar. Estamos aí com imagens novamente. De volta aí com as imagens da Estação Espacial Internacional. Estamos a menos de 2 quilômetros.
The impulse 4 burn performed as expected, and this was a burn to further fine-tune the spacecraft's path to the station.
We've just performed the final maneuver, and you our go to activate Toro. Copy that. We will be activating Toro.
And you just heard some conversation between flight controllers on the ground and the cosmonauts on aboard
Done.
station.
Copy. Excellent. After that, please proceed with page 21, step 4.2. Copy that in work.
They are currently activating and testing the Toru
Also,
system.
Just reminding you that we are broadcasting. Copy. And please report what you're doing. All right, so I press the
Agora
transmit
estamos aí
button.
com visão da Estação Espacial Internacional.
You are currently
Aí
seeing
agora com a
live
visão
views of
da
the Progress
Progress
86
86
spacecraft
da
from the
visão
space
então
station cameras as it continues to close
câmera aí da
in on
Estação
station,
Espacial
where it'll be docking
Internacional.
in just about
Estamos a
34
menos de
minutes from now
1
to the hoist
quilômetro
module.
de distância.
Till hard stop. The road test, I see all 4 LEDs on, and I've tested the rotational control button, no problems, and I'm testing the translation control button, turning it left and run, handle and turn it left and right, to myself, against myself, and there are no problems with it. And I'm also testing, doing the next test. The test has been performed and no problems identified. Excellent. Please proceed with step 4.3. Copy. Step 4.3. So I'm
7 horas
on
e
the
43
PPS
minutos pelo horário de
initial,
Brasília.
then
Estamos então aí na
operation,
fase de aproximação
turning it on,
com a Estação
and
Espacial Internacional.
turning on
Estamos a menos de 1 quilômetro aí de distância
the
horizontal
which
com a
is
estação.
EGC
Então, é
mode.
acompanhando a fase de aproximação e acoplagem módulo de carga da Progress 86 MS-25.
Moscow Station. So please I'll adjust it to the most comfortable view to yourself, and then you can leave it as is. I'm leaving it as is, and I'm turning it off. Thank you. Copy that. And I've recorded the information. I'm going to page 22. The range is 961, and the rate is 2.71. Copy that. Thank you. Excellent. So let us wait for the beginning of fly around at around 10:49. Copy that. 10:49.
Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub of Roscosmos, currently aboard the International Space Station, just conducted a successful test of the Toru system, which is the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit from which they are monitoring today's docking operations. The Toru is basically a joystick, and in the unlikely event of a failure with the automated radar-based core system, they can override it and manually fly Progress in for docking using the camera view from Progress. The Impulse 5 burn for Progress was just successfully completed, and this is another short burst to further fine-tune the spacecraft's path to station. There are 6 total impulse burns, so we have 1 remaining. Progress is now less than 1,000 meters away from the station and closing in at a rate of 2.5 meters per second. It's about 4 minutes away from conducting its 127-degree fly around, which will
Então, a
help the
700
spacecraft self-align
metros
with the
da
docking port
Estação
on the Poise
Espacial,
module.
com velocidade agora de 2,4 metros por segundo e diminuindo. 600 metros. Lembrando então que a acoplagem prevista aí para acontecer às 8h14.
And we have confirmation that the 6th and final impulse burn was just completed to further fine-tune Progress's path to the space station for today's docking, which is scheduled to occur in just under 30 minutes from now.
Então, à direita você vê imagens da Progress e não, da esquerda você vê a imagem da Progress e à direita imagem da Estação Espacial Internacional. Estamos a menos de 600 metros da estação.
In just under 3 minutes, the fly-around of Progress
Agora
is
estamos em
scheduled.
destaque aí com imagens da
During this
Soyuz.
fly-around, the Progress spacecraft will self-align with the docking port
Da
on the
Soyuz não, da
Poise module of the
Progress.
International Space Station and conduct a 127-degree fly-around. Once aligned, the Progress vehicle will briefly go into station keeping.
Lembrando que esta é
This
uma
will
missão
allow
de
flight
carga
controllers
aí
at the
da
Russian Mission Control Center
da
outside of
Rússia,
Moscow to analyze
em
the
conjunto
alignment
com a
between the
NASA.
forward docking probe on Progress and the docking port on the
Está
space
levando aí
station's
3
Poise module.
toneladas de alimento, água, combustível e outros suprimentos para a expedição, para a tripulação da expedição 70 na Estação Espacial Internacional. Estamos aí agora a menos de 500 metros. A acoplagem está prevista aí para acontecer às 8h14.
Progress is closing in on space station for today's docking and is just under 450 meters away, closing in at a rate of 1.5 meters per second. The fly-around is scheduled for about a minute and a half from now.
E este módulo de carga, então,
And
da
docking
Progress vai ficar
continues
a bordo
to
da
be
estação,
on time
acoplada na
for
estação por 6
28
meses.
minutes from now.
Moscow Station, do you see the fly around? Yes, copy that. We are seeing the beginning of fly around. Everything is great.
The Progress vehicle has begun its fly around of station. Again, this is a 127-degree fly around that will allow the spacecraft to self-align with the docking port on the Poise module for today's docking operations. Once aligned, the Progress vehicle will briefly go
Estamos
into
já
some
então a
station
menos de
keeping.
300
This will allow the
metros
flight
da Estação Espacial.
controllers at the Russian Mission Control in Koryov just outside of Moscow to analyze the alignment between the forward docking probe on the Progress 86 vehicle and the docking port on the space station's Poise module. Once the proper alignment is confirmed, they'll reinitiate the docking sequence.
Estamos aguardando então o início da sequência para a acoplagem.
You are currently seeing live views of the Progress spacecraft from the International Space Station's cameras as the International Space Station is currently flying over Algeria.
Estamos agora a menos de 250 metros.
The Progress 86 spacecraft is now less than 250 meters away from the space station and about 24 minutes away from a scheduled docking of 5:14 a.m. Central, 6:14 a.m. Eastern, as it continues to conduct its 127-degree fly around to self-align with the docking port on the POISC module.
Aí uma breve perda de comunicação com a nave da Progress.
We are currently going through a brief but expected
Então
loss
esse aí é o
of
centro de
signal,
controle da
and you're
Rússia,
currently seeing live views from the balcony at the
em
Russian Mission
Moscou.
Control Center in Koryov, Russia, just outside of Moscow, where flight controllers are currently working in
Estamos de
tandem with
volta
the
aí com
team
as
here in
imagens
Houston
então
for today's Progress 86
da
docking
Progress
operations.
86. Vocês podem olhar ali no canto superior direito ali da tela grande lá. Sete horas e 54 minutos. Estamos ainda nos aproximando da estação. Estamos aí com menos de 200 metros aí, então, da estação espacial. Agora 5 imagens da tela cheia em destaque aí para vocês. Estamos aí então com 208 metros da estação. Lembrando que a acoplagem é prevista aí para acontecer às 8 horas e 14 minutos. Estamos aí aguardando o início do procedimento então para a acoplagem.
It is about 200 meters away from the space station as it continues to conduct its fly around to self-align with the docking port on the POISC module.
Moscow, I'm not receiving the picture. Well, actually, if necessary, please press operation again, работа, and work on the AGC mode. I turned off the AGC mode. It's all dark, but it's a little better. All right, so leave it as most comfortable to you. Will do. The important thing is to turn the работа, the operation, back on.
The Progress 86
All
vehicle.
right, I'll leave it as is. Because I can see on the Mac, I see the really good image. Yeah, we received the picture, and the quality looks satisfactory to us. On the symbol, I see the agency mode, and there is the picture on Mac is really good.
The Progress 86 vehicle is more
Para
than
quem está
halfway
chegando
through
agora,
its scheduled
estamos aí
fly around
acompanhando a parte então da
to self-align with the docking
aproximação
port on the POISC
com a
module.
Estação
And you just
Espacial
heard some
Internacional.
conversation
Estamos a
between
menos de 200
cosmonauts
metros
Oleg
da
Kononenko and
estação.
Nikolai Chub aboard the space station who are
A
monitoring
acoplagem então está
today's
prevista aí
docking
para
from the Toru,
acontecer
which is
às
the
8
tele-robotically
horas e
operated
14
rendezvous unit,
minutos pelo
basically a
horário de Brasília.
joystick system that they can use in the unlikely event of a failure with the automated
Lembrando
radar-based
que esta
core
missão então
system
teve
on
início no dia
progress to
1º de dezembro,
manually fly the spacecraft in for docking.
6h25 da manhã, com o lançamento então da Soyuz 21A em Baikonur, no Cazaquistão. Este módulo da Progress 86 então vai ficar a bordo da estação espacial por 6 meses.
Yes, we are seeing the Espcial fly around. So the solar arrays, and now you can see it going right inside. Yes, we can see the picture. We can see that it is kind of off a little bit off the center, and I don't see solar arrays anymore.
You are go to switch to Toru. Copy, send in operation. Send in. Breakout. Go. We confirm. Activate manual control. Switch into manual control.
And we just heard some conversation between flight controllers on the ground and the cosmonauts aboard the International Space Station, Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub, who are in the Zvezda service module monitoring today's docking. We heard confirmation that they will be taking over docking using the Toru system, which is a tele-robotically operated rendezvous unit in place of the radar-based core system on Progress.
Back to the docking port if necessary, back to fly around. We say that you did a little bit more. Okay.
8 horas da manhã, pelo horário de Brasília. Estamos aí, então aí acompanhando a chegada então do módulo de carga da Progress 86 MS-25 na Estação Espacial Internacional. Estamos a menos de 180 metros da estação.
Range 170 meters.
Bom dia, amigo Walter. Seja bem-vindo aí à nossa transmissão. Estamos aí agora com imagens aí bem nítidas aí da Progress.
The Progress vehicle is now just about 170 meters away from the space station.
Course data is
Lembrando que sua acoplagem então está prevista aí para as 8 horas e 14 minutos.
Reminder. Our visual assessment is our priority.
Estamos agora oficialmente aí na fase de acoplagem.
Range 150, range rate 0.22 and closing. Copy, we observe.
150 metros. Estamos aí então a 150 metros da estação.
Maneuver is done. 0.4 is the range rate.
Вас понял.
Copy. 150 kilometers range.
Продолжаем до дальности 30 метров. Там будет...
Proceed to 30 meters, then we'll be mowed into the current position and we'll be standing by for your report. Copy.
120.05 на снижение.
Okay, it's 120 and
Вас понял.
0.5 and closing. Copy.
Lembrando então que este é o módulo de carga então da Progress 86 MS25. Esse procedimento então está fazendo no modo automático, sem tripulação a bordo, neste módulo de carga. Voltamos a 160 metros da estação. Vocês podem também acompanhar aí a metragem ali embaixo no canto da tela inferior esquerdo. Estamos aumentando então a distância, estamos aí a 170 metros. Estamos aí fazendo os ajustes para então fazer a acoplagem então no módulo russo aí na estação.
метров, 0,4 на снижение.
180 meters, 0.4 and closing.
Вас понял.
Copy.
Экипаж, напоминаю.
Crew, a reminder.
Скорость по правой стороне под курсом.
Okay, you need to take range rate and rate on
Voltamos aí ao ponto de 200 metros.
relative to course. Copy.
Принял.
Range 170, 0.78 and closing. Copy.
Estamos então fazendo o ajuste aí para a acoplagem.
During the fly around of the Progress vehicle, Progress started drifting away from the expected attitude and was not aligned with the docking target. The crew aboard the International Space Station has taken over manual control and recovered the expected attitude. Docking today will now be performed using the Toru system,
60 meter point.
Принято.
Copy.
which is the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit from inside the Zvezda service module. Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub of Roscosmos are currently
Copy.
operating the Toru unit.
Полученная рекомендация.
The recommendation, damp the rate. Do not hold less than more than 0.02.
Принято, выполняю.
Copy and work.
Station on 2 for T2.
Дальность 45.
Range 45.
Принял.
Copy.
The Progress vehicle is currently about 45 meters away from the
Estamos a
station.
50
It is
metros
going
da
to go to
estação.
about 30 meters and then pause for station keeping before final approach.
Дальность
Range 40.
Nós tivemos aí um pequeno problema com a telemetria
Rate
da nave,
0.004. Copy.
mas aí estamos então a 50 metros da estação. Tivemos aí problemas aí com a telemetria da
подходим к 30, скорость 0.
Approaching a 30
Progress
meter
ali, né?
point. Rate is 02, copy.
Nós estamos aí então a 50
The progress
metros,
vehicle is now at about the 30-meter point away from the International Space Station.
30
It'll
metros.
pause here briefly for station keeping. During this period of station,
Range 30 meters, station keeping.
Estamos então aí confirmando aí a 30 metros da estação.
Confirm. After that, send a command of a Kazakh, close. You go to do it. Okay. Station keeping confirm. Send the command, 30 meters, rate 0.
we just heard confirmation that the vehicle is in station keeping. This period of time will allow flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center in Koryov, just outside of
The window for mode into never hold will be will start in unintelligible copy in work.
Again, this period of station keeping will allow the flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center just outside of Moscow to analyze the alignment between the forward docking probe on progress and the docking
A
port on the space
último
station's
dado de
hoist module.
telemetria, né, do veículo,
Once
estamos
proper
aí a
alignment is
30
confirmed,
metros da estação
We
espacial
will continue through final
internacional.
approach and
Nós
docking.
tivemos ali embaixo, né, estamos aí
No
problemas
visual of target.
no sistema aí do
30 meters, rate 0.
veículo,
do
né,
not have a
mas
visual of
estamos
target
indo
as
bem aí
well.
com a parte então da acoplagem.
Continue monitoring station keeping.
A acoplagem está prevista para acontecer às 8h14 da manhã, aqui no horário de Brasília. Estamos então aí com o módulo de carga da Progress 86 MS-25.
The progress vehicle continues to be in a period of station keeping at a holding at a distance of 30 meters away from the space station's docking
Estamos
port.
ainda então a distância de 30 metros da estação.
To recap, during a fly around a few minutes ago, the progress vehicle started drifting away from the expected attitude and was not aligned with the docking target. Because of this, the crew on board station took manual control of the vehicle to recover the expected attitude, and docking will now be performed.
Kind of jumped up to 24. What about your visual? Can you assess if it matches? Okay, but again, please adjust the GC mode. Try to make it as comfortable for you as possible. Okay, the ruler shows 28.
Docking will now be performed using the Toru system, which is the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit.
The ruler shows 26 meters. Copy.
26 metros. Sim, falta bem pouquinho. Falta bem pouco agora.
Мишень наблюдаю, начинаю выравнивать.
Okay, I have visual of the target, beginning alignment.
Estamos agora aí com o
Copy,
visual
yes,
do,
we see the image.
do,
We
ra-
can see
do,
the
do
crosshairs
alvo,
on the
né?
target,
Vai ser mirado ali.
and we
Esteja
can
então
see
alinhado
the
aí com a
stand.
fazer então a acoplagem.
Roscosmos cosmonauts Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub, currently aboard the International Space Station, are working to align the Progress vehicle with the docking port during this period of station keeping. They are working from the Toru.
Course range is 24.
24 metros.
Принял.
Copy.
По линейке 25.
Ruler shows 23.
23.
Copy, excellent.
Экипаж
Now,
подтверждение перевода в ТП.
the mode into TP is confirmed.
3 метра.
You are going to proceed from the range of 3 meters. Copy, inward.
Estamos então aí a 23 metros da estação espacial.
Брал 0,7.
0.7 and closing.
Вас понял.
Copy.
We just heard confirmation that the crew is going to continue to proceed through final approach
Отлично.
and pause at 3
Cruise
meters.
mode. Excellent.
Oito horas 13 minutos. Perdemos contato aí com a Progress.
Дальность по линейке 18.
Range per the ruler is 27 meters.
Принял.
Keep closing. Copy.
Estamos a 27 metros.
0.2 and closing.
Estamos então aí nos aproximando aí da estação, pouco a pouco.
Дальность 12, скорость 0,11.
Range 12. Rate 11 and closing. Excellent.
The Progress vehicle is currently at a range of 11 meters from the space station. And
11
closing in.
metros.
Once it gets to 3 meters, it will pause again briefly. Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chub of Roscosmos are currently operating today's docking using the Toru system inside the space station, which is basically a joystick that they can use to manually fly Progress and for docking with a camera view from Progress.
Инструкция ООО отведена. Да, вас понял, наблюдаем инструкцию.
Yes, we copy you.
Está a menos de 5 metros.
Range 5, rate 0.4. Copy.
The vehicle is now less than 5 meters away from the space station.
Você é bem cheio, hein? 5 metros. Dois metros.
Range 3, station keeping.
Ожидаем доклад о зависании.
Copy, standing by for report on station keeping confirmed.
The
Station keeping confirmed. Crosshair the line ready for docking. Copy your readiness, you have a go. Copy in work.
The Progress vehicle is now less than 3 meters away and going to press in for docking.
3 metros aí da estação.
Rate 0.8.
No.
Copy.
We are standing by for contact and capture of the Progress
Estamos
86
aguardando então aí
spacecraft
o
to the International
contato.
Space Station.
Contact.
Ожидаем.
Standing by for contact.
E aí, portanto, o contato
No visual
confirmado.
of the target.
Estamos aguardando o visual.
Задание сцепка.
Contact confirmed.
Então, contato confirmado às 8 horas e 19 minutos no horário de Brasília. Então, a acoplagem na Estação Espacial Internacional, realizada
And we
com
have
sucesso
confirmation of
às
contact
8
and
horas da
capture.
manhã, 8h19 da manhã, pelo horário de Brasília da Progress 86 MS 25.
Docking of the unpiloted Progress 86 cargo spacecraft has been confirmed at 5:18 a.m. Central, 6:18 a.m. Eastern,
1.5 meters.
as the space station was flying 260 statute miles over the Western Pacific.
0.009.
No oeste do Pacífico. Então, aí tivemos contato confirmado aí com sucesso pela Progress 86 MS 25.
Following the initial contact and capture that was confirmed at 5:18 a.m. Central, 6:18 a.m. Eastern, we are now in a period to allow the relative motion between Progress and the International Space Station to dampen out on the docking interface between the two vehicles. Once that occurs, the forward docking probe on Progress will begin to retract. Hooks will close, and then we will have a hard mate between Progress and station.
Okay, we're working for page 26 now, right?
Операции.
Closeout ops are on page 27.
Но это опять же напоминаю.
But again,
Да, все верно. По окончанию процесса стягивания.
yes, only after the retraction complete.
During the fly around of the Progress vehicle, The vehicle started drifting away from the expected attitude and was not aligned with the docking target. Crew then took manual control and recovered the expected attitude, and they performed docking using the Toru system, which is the telerobotically operated rendezvous unit inside the station. The crew confirmed contact and capture of the vehicle at 5:18 a.m. Central, 6:18 a.m. Eastern, as the space station was flying 260 statute miles over
Então,
the
o
western
contato então,
Pacific.
na verdade, foi
They
confirmado
are
aí
now
às
in a period of
8h18
a couple
da
of
manhã.
minutes to allow the
Não, às
relative
19.
motion between Progress and the
Então, às
International Space
8h18
Station
da
to
manhã, no
dampen
horário de
out
Brasília, então
on the
foi
docking
confirmado
interface
então, o
between
contato
Progress and station.
na
Once
Estação
that occurs
Espacial
before docking
Internacional.
probe on Progress will begin to retract, hooks will close, and we will have a hard mate.
Então,
Once we have a hard mate, there will be a period of
8
standard
horas
gate
e
checks
22 minutos
to ensure that there's an airtight
pelo
seal
horário de
between
Brasília.
Progress and the station before the crew
Estamos
opens
então
hatches
aqui
in
já
about 3 hours to begin
encerrando
unloading cargo from
esta
the
segunda
vehicle.
transmissão aqui
The
do dia,
spacecraft
de
is
hoje, de
scheduled to remain docked to
3
the opening
de
laboratory for
dezembro de
approximately 6 months.
2023. Lembrando que este módulo de carga, então, vai ficar acoplado na estação por 6 meses. E para saber mais, então, sobre a nossa programação do canal, basta seguir aí o
And we
canal
have
nas redes
confirmation that the
sociais,
forward docking probe on Progress has
aí
begun to
no
retract.
X, no
After it
Instagram,
retracts, the hooks on
e
Progress will
também
begin to
seguir
close
lá o
to
nosso
form a hard mate.
blog, né, para mais informações. Também se inscreva no canal, estamos aí com 817 inscrições. E deixa o like também na transmissão. Eu quero agradecer aí a todos pela audiência, pela paciência. E aí, então, nos veremos numa próxima transmissão ou em um próximo vídeo. Lembrando que daqui a pouquinho, então, teremos aí os melhores momentos da transmissão de hoje. Então, aí aguardem aí para os melhores momentos. Então, tivemos aí a acoplagem confirmada com sucesso às 8 horas e 18 minutos pelo horário de Brasília. Então, por hora é só, pessoal.
We now
Nos
have
vemos
confirmation that the hooks on Progress have closed to form a hard mate between
numa
the Progress
próxima
86 spacecraft and the International
oportunidade.
Space Station.
Moscow Station, space to ground 1.